Okay, so the last way we're going to teach you to solve equations is using a formula, okay? And this works for quadratic equations, equations that have an x to the second power. And sometimes this is the last resort, okay? It's a little bit of a complicated equation and formula, but basically this is what you're going to do if you can't solve it using a square root and you can't solve it by factoring, okay? So if an equation is in general form, meaning that it's in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, then you can take the numbers a, b, hang on, let me get my highlighter going better here. You can use a, b, and c into your formula. So a is going to be put here and here, and B is going to be put here and here, okay? So basically you put those in and then you calculate out this formula and that'll tell you the two values for x. So like I said on the last slide, this needs to be in general form. It needs to be ax squared plus bx plus c. So I'm going to take and I'm going to make sure that it equals 0 by adding 2 in this equation. I'll get negative 4x squared plus x plus 2 equals 0. And that means that my a and my b are given, or my a and my c, and my b is not in there. And remember that if there's no number in front of x, it's like having 1. So I'm going to use a as negative 4, b as 1, and c is 2. Okay? So I'm going to take my formula and I'm just going to plug these numbers in. So I'm going to take negative b, negative 1, plus or minus the square root of b squared, 1 squared, minus 4 times a, negative 4, times c, 2, all divided by 2 times a, which is negative 4. Okay, and I'm just going to do all the multiplication and simplifying that I can. So this negative 1 plus or minus stays put. 1 squared is 1 minus 4 times negative 4 is negative 16 times 2 is negative 32. So I know it's going to be minus a negative 32, so I'm just going to write plus 32 divided by negative 8. And the most simplified that I can get this is 1 plus the square root of 33 divided by negative 8. And 1 minus the square root of 33 divided by negative 8. These are my two answers right now. This is the most exact way to write them. If I go ahead and I find the decimal approximation on my calculator, I could find some decimal approximations for these. As you can see from these answers, they're not going to be nice answers, and so that's why we use the quadratic formula, because there's really no way to factor this equation here. So in this case, I'm going to have an a of 1, a b of 2, and a c of 7. A is the coefficient or the multiplication constant of the x squared term, b is the coefficient of the x term, and c is the constant term. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2a. All right? Simplify it down, negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 minus 28 divided by 2 gives me negative 2 plus, and I've got 4 minus 28, okay? 4 minus 28 is going to give me a negative 24 divided by 2. And what happens when you take the square root of a negative number is that there's no solution. There's no real solution. So what that means is in this case, there are no roots or no solutions. Okay, this is possible. We talked about this during one of the focus problems in class. We talked about that it's possible for there to be no solutions when the parabola is up here and opens up, or is down here and opens down. There's no values for x when y is 0. Okay? So go ahead and solve out this before class question. You're going to solve it using the quadratic formula, and then I do want you to think about the context. Tell me what the answers that you get tell you about the graph of the parabola for the equation.